Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT EMEA Stage 1 2025 for Week 2. My guest at this time is Milan, the head coach of FNATIC, coming off of their victory over Vitality at the end of the said week and in said competition. So Milan, thank you so much for the opportunity for this interview. Massive congratulations. I mean, coming off of the a match that saw plenty of overtimes, plenty of twists and turns and back and forth stuff obviously feels good about coming out of this with a victory, but nevertheless, I gotta ask you, what's going through your mind?
Uh, I'm just happy. I think today was. It's something that all of us knew was going to be possible, and I think today we just proved that we have what it takes as a team. And I don't want to discredit Vitality because I think they're a fantastic team, but I think that we were good today. Like I think today stuff aligned, and on that first map, I feel like we had a couple of like unfortunate rounds happening to us. We also maybe didn't really play the OT. It just feels like we kind of ran out of ideas. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I feel like this should have been a 2-0. And then I'm equally happy as I'm now because a win is a win. But overall, I'm just excited. Like I think this team is kind of showing what it's capable of right now, and it's something that when Fnatic gave me the trust that they did like a couple of months ago, this is ultimately what I set out to like start achieving. You know, because obviously we're not there yet, but I think we're showing early signs of being a very well structured and developed team.
You know, it's kind of as you said, the team has kind of been a little bit of a disarray, specifically in the prior weeks before where you guys are at right now. And yeah, it's definitely good to see the team, performing well despite all of that, and also improving at the same time. And so, I kind of want to ask you about the first map, obviously about Split. I mean, you kind of mentioned right there regarding the overtime in which the team kind of had ran out of ideas, and in an overtime setting, I do understand that, kind of playing repeated lineups in place kind of like gets to a team eventually, but given also what you said about the match should have been ending 2-0, what do you feel happened in Split that just sort of twisted the terms of or twisted the tide of momentum over into Vitality side?
If I'm being honest, I don't feel like they had momentum at any point. Like I think that they just like kept creeping up. I felt like we had the reads. It was just that maybe missing a couple of shots here and there. Like we were making, like I feel like we just lost to ourselves, you know, and that's something that ultimately is going to happen. I think it's good for a team to go through those stages as well. And I think Vitality is a very strong team, so they'll be able to punish you for that, right? And that's kind of what I think was. That's why I'm like not obviously I'm not happy that we lost the map, but I'm excited to see that as like a learning opportunity for the team as well.
Going forward from Split to Lotus, I want to ask you what was the kind of team talk that you gave to the guys, and just in order to like have them forget about what happened in map one, just kind of focus on map two and map three. What did you kind of say that in a way kind of sparked the team to perform very well in the later stages of the
Mhm.
map or the match?
We just kept it simple. Like we knew we had the good read. I think today we felt extremely prepared, both for ourselves, but also like in terms of what we expected from them. And I focused on that. You know, I focused on understand making the boys aware that that was a good game from us, and that we lost to ourselves. And that we were ultimately the strongest team out of those two, even though we may not have won that map, you know. And I think just making sure that the energy was still there, because the boys were excited, they were happy, they're feeling good. It wasn't like we were upset that we lost that map. I think everybody that came out of the studio at that point was like, yeah, shit, we should have probably won that, but that's fine. We'll just win the next two, and that's really the energy that we had throughout the entire series.
I mean, in a lot of ways, then, given how you kind of describe the state of the team during that series, the second half of Haven was basically what the team should have always done the entire series as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes again, I think that's the only half where I'm like maybe not the most happy with how we played individually, right? But outside of that, this is just what happens when you play a good team, right? There's two super teams, so every time one of the two makes a mistake, the other team will punish that, and we were very aware of that going into it. But we also knew that the moment that momentum switched, everything just changed, and that's what happened on the second half. And Jake gets the insane 1v3, right? Starts twerking, and from that moment I was like, okay, well, if we get 4 or 5 rounds going, their momentum is going to crumble, and I do think that right now we're better set up to tackle issues than they are. I think we're better at coming back. We've done it against Navi. We've done it in the past. These boys have a history of having massive comebacks, so I felt very comfortable.
In the lead up to this match, there was plenty of anticipation, given that your squad and Vitalities are one of the best in this region, and given that you guys were able to finish this off with a resounding fashion, especially on that second half of Haven. I mean, it does give you that. Does that give you a lot of confidence about where this team is at, and being in pole position for the title in stage one and everything beyond that? Does that give you that extra mental push?
I mean, obviously, right? But I think beating the team that everybody regards as the best team in EMEA is good. That's a very assuring feeling. But I can also tell you that every week I'm going in against Apex the same way that I'm going against Vitality today, right? Every match we want to win. Every match we'll prepare the same for. So it's a long season, right? And even I'm not even looking at right now, because obviously my eyes right now are on Toronto, but I want to make sure that we set ourselves up for long-term success, right? I want to not just peak now and have I don't know, just like a mixed run at potentially an international event. I just want to make sure that we win every game that we play.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the name of the game for this team, looking over into champions and all of that's good stuff. I kind of now want to pivot over to yourself. Obviously, it's been kind of a little bit of a whirlwind this year for yourself, as a member of FNATIC, going from assistant coach, then having to bring in Eric slash Doombros, and then having him step aside, to take care of himself, which of course, hopefully he does take care of himself, and then you being moved up into the head coaching role. Now we've had a few weeks down now in which you've been into that role. How has the process been like for you, and just having to like maybe go through the initial struggles, or maybe you not have gone to any struggles at all? So how have you viewed your tenure so far?
I mean, it's been very busy. Like the moment we knew that Elma was going to be put on the bench, I wasn't guaranteed of this position at all. Like I basically had to, the same way that they talked to other coaches that were like interesting profiles, the same way that they spoke to Eric, the same way that they spoke to other people. I just had to do an interview for it. I went through the stages, so I haven't really had a break, if I'm being honest, and that's one of the things that's starting to catch up to me a little bit. I've been going nonstop ever since, like basically our kickoff elimination. Other than that, I feel there's so much trust, both from FNATIC, from Colin, our manager, team director specifically, from the boys, me bringing in Ben, who I think is also someone who is, I don't want to go under the radar because he's a fantastic addition to the team. He's been, like essentially over the course of 2-3 days, he's been asked to move across, Europe, relocated to Berlin, and doing fantastic work every day with me. So I'm super grateful for the position that I'm in, and I think that's one of the things that is also not necessarily my gratefulness, but just our collective feeling as a group right now is, I would say, is something that I really think we're nailing with this team right now. It feels like there's so much camaraderie going on, so many things people want to do for and with each other, and that's just something that's carrying us through these games.
Obviously, the person you mentioned, Ben, is Scott. The assistant coach for
Scott,
the team. In coming into the team a few weeks before the start of the actual stage one, and obviously, like, you've been one that has learned under various different head coaches over the years in your career, for many teams, and so obviously this is kind of a new journey for you. Technically, in that sense, is being the head coach and not having to like work under a head coach. And so what I want to ask you, Milan, is what do you feel has been the one biggest aspect that you had to implement from your like coaching style to the team with what so little time you had to make it all happen, and how much of a tight schedule you have to even do all that?
The main thing is, I think we're working a lot more structured now. And outside of that, I think the biggest compliments that boys have given me is that the culture that we've created as a team is a winning culture. So and that means that, like I said, we'll do everything for each other. We're a team. You know, it truly feels like we are one cohesive unit who does stuff with and for each other. And outside, that means inside and outside of the game, we're open with each other, and we're making sure that everybody's just always on the same page.
No, for sure. I
And I
mean,
think that's been my biggest. Sorry for cutting across. I think that's been my my biggest. Like, I had a lot of these ideas. Obviously, when you're in an assistant coach role, especially working with Pipson, like, I think I already focused a lot on these like more non-strategical things. And then during the off season, I made sure that I developed, because I just wanted to make sure that whenever I started at FNATIC, I was the most ready version of myself. So I tried to be like develop myself strategically as much as possible. And now me picking up Ben, who is definitely a profile who also leans into that category, that allows me to also focus a little bit more on those cultural things, on making sure that we just run a tight ship. And I have two people, both Scott and Boaster, who are able to pick up a lot of this like strategical stuff additionally.
for sure. I want to squeeze in one more question before I wrap this one up. You mentioned about like you preparing yourself to be ready, and I actually wanted to ask you this about that kind of stuff. When you found out that you were going to be the head coach for the squad, did you feel like you were ready 100% by that point? And also, like, looking at that time in which you kind of looked at that kind of decision, where are you at right now mentally, and how you've been able to be comfortable in this new position?
The biggest thing is that one of the reasons that there was a lot of trust, not only from management, but also from the boys. So me becoming head coach was something that ultimately was also partially a player decision, I would say. So I knew from the beginning that I would have a lot of confidence, or I had a lot of control, I had a lot of trust. And I think that that's been the biggest thing for me, right? The fact that I feel very comfortable. I'm obviously I'm still learning a lot day to day. It's been a hell of a journey over these last 2 months, but I'm feeling more and more content and ready day by day.
No, for sure, and hopefully this team can continue their momentum into the ensuing weeks and everything beyond this point after stage one, of course. And yeah, Milan, thank you so much for the interview,
Welcome.
answering all of my questions, providing all of the insight within the team. I really do appreciate that, and of course, I gotta give you the best of luck for yourself and the rest of the team in the road ahead. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for
Thank
the
you so much,
chat.
man.